This is your board game shortcut to the White Castle Duel. In this tutorial I walk you through the entire game. Setup, turn structure, actions and final scoring. Follow along and you'll be ready to duel right away. Let's begin with the setup. First, take all influence cards, shuffle them well and deal them evenly onto the 3 castle spaces on the main board. Shuffle the lantern cards, form a draw pile and reveal 3 cards face up next to it. For the training yards, take the tiles and separate them into basic and elite training yards. Randomly choose one of each and place them face up in their spaces. The remaining tiles are not used this game. Do not confuse these tiles with the square lantern tokens. Shuffle those as well and place them randomly onto the 6 location spaces. These will act as action spots later, similar to the die spaces in the main game. For the Courtier action, you will need 4 social climbing tiles. Place 1 white tile on each side of the castle at the lower level and 1 grey tile on each side at the upper level. For the gardens, use the small garden tiles. Place 3 of them showing the plant garden side and the other 3 showing the stone garden side in the designated spaces. The grey tiles represent merchandise. The lighter ones are common merchandise and the darker ones are luxury items. Form face-up stacks of 3 tiles each. These tiles will later boost certain bonuses during scoring. Create a common supply of coins, daimyo seals and change activation tiles. Finally, place your single courtier at the castle gate and with that the general setup is complete. It may look a bit fiddly or cluttered at first, but I will show you in a moment how the board is organized and how everything connects. Next, move to your personal player area. Place your resource markers for food, iron and mother of pearl on the lowest space of each track. Unlike many other games, resources are tracked on a dial rather than with physical tokens. Both players take the clan seals in their chosen colors, either blue or yellow. You also take your lantern tokens. Each player takes 2 tokens of each of the 3 colors and stacks them on the matching lantern symbols of their domain board. Place your clan point marker next to the scoring track. 1 player takes the starting player marker. Finally, both of you gain your starting resources. Reveal 3 starting resource cards. In reverse player order, choose 1 card and take the resources shown on it. For example, this card would give you 1 iron, 2 mother of pearl and 2 daimyo seals. After taking the resources, flip the card over and place it as your first lantern card in the matching lantern area of your domain board. Now you're ready to begin the game. Before we dive into the details of the individual actions, I'll give you an idea of how the game actually works. One of the biggest changes from the main game is that a match is split into 2 phases. Right in the middle of the game, the starting player switches and the rest of the game plays out in reverse order. Since that reverse phase only introduces minor rule tweaks, I'll explain the game from the start and cover the phase switch at the end. Just like in the main game, the goal is to create efficient combos and chain reactions. In the Duel version, the lantern action takes center stage. In the original game it was more of a bonus you'd occasionally trigger, but here it becomes a core engine that drives your turns. And as you can see, the game no longer uses dice. Instead, everything resolves around the lantern tokens in red, black and white. During the first half of the game, you start your turn by taking one of your lantern tokens from your domain board. That token determines which action you can trigger this turn. You then choose one of the 6 lantern locations on the main board. These locations come in the same 3 colors as your tokens. And this is not by accident. The token you place must be a different color than the location tile you're placing it on. If the spot is already occupied, that's fine. Lantern tokens can be stacked up to a height of 3. To place your token on top, you must make sure that no color is duplicated in the stack. In other words, all colors in that stack must be different. At that point, the color of the tile at the bottom no longer matters. So your turn essentially starts by choosing a lantern token from your domain board and placing it on any valid location on the main board. Before you carry out the actions, you always resolve the lantern bonus first. In the first half of the game, you look at the color your token is covering, whether it is covering a location tile or another lantern token. That color determines which lantern area on your domain board activates. You then gain all rewards in that lantern area. These can be resources, coins, daimyo seals or even clan points. and you take all of them immediately. After choosing an action location and gaining the lantern bonus, you may perform 2 actions. You can resolve them in either order. You can also see this on the board by the 2 arrows shown on each location. Even though all the tiles and cards may look overwhelming at first, the actual actions break down very cleanly. As a quick overview, these are the locations where you place your lantern tokens. And these are the actions you trigger by doing so. Everything else around them represents the areas where those actions take effect. This symbol lets you use the castle action, where you move your courtier up inside the castle. For that you will need Mother of Pearl. This symbol connects you to the garden area, where you will spend food. The training action is located up here on the right and requires iron. And the new trade action is down here, where you may pay with any resources of your choice. During your turn, you will often find opportunities to chain multiple actions together, because many actions reward you with another action, which may then lead to another one. However, you will never need more than the single lantern token you placed at the start of your turn. I will walk you through all of this in detail. Let's start from the beginning. First, let's look at the lantern action. One thing that can easily be confused are the 2 different types of lantern symbols on the board, because they look very similar to the lantern locations. This symbol means you may trigger one lantern action of your choice, gaining all rewards from your lantern row on your domain board. And don't forget, even without any cards, your board already shows a printed lantern bonus in each row. To get more lantern bonuses, you look for this symbol. It allows you to take one of the lantern cards from the display and add it to the matching lantern color on your board, expanding the rewards of that lantern action. 4 of the action locations allow you to buy the top card from one of the 3 influence decks. The main cost is shown at the top of the card and is paid in coins, daimyo seals, or sometimes a mix of your choice. After buying a card, you gain access to the white scroll area on it, which often offers you a deal, gives you something for free, or lets you perform an additional action. Most of these effects are straightforward, and any unclear cases will become clearer as we move through the video. Whether you choose to use the scroll effect or skip it is entirely up to you. Once resolved, you place the card to the left of your domain board, matching its color. From that point onward, its scroll action no longer matters. You cannot use it again. However, collecting many influence cards is still very beneficial, and I will show you why during the final scoring. Your goal with influence cards is ultimately to flip them, because once they are improved, they will score significant bonuses during final scoring. To do that, you use actions with this symbol. This action allows you to flip up to 2 of the influence cards in your player area. It can be very worthwhile to target influence cards with specific symbols, even if you don't really need their scroll effects at that moment. Once we get to the final scoring chapter, you will immediately see why. The ship symbol takes you to the trade action, which offers 3 different options. All of them are paid for using resources of your choice. Most of the merchandise tiles show the familiar symbols related to the final scoring. After paying, you simply place the merchandise tiles in your player area. They will not have any effect during the game, but they can become very valuable during final scoring. With the first trade option, you buy the top influence card from any of the 3 decks. Resolve its scroll effect if you want to, and then add it to your player area, just like with the regular influence action. Each turn gives you 2 actions by default. For every action you skip, whether intentionally or because you cannot perform it, you may use the well action instead. So if you skip both actions, you may use the well twice. Each time you use the well, you simply choose one of the available bonuses. The red fan icon gives you an immediate clan point, and the change activation tile is arguably the most useful reward you can get from the well. I'll explain why in a moment. The well action also appears as a replacement option whenever one of the influence decks runs out. Because you can't freely place lantern tokens anywhere you like, and because your placement options become more restricted as the game progresses, the change activation tile can be a real lifesaver. It also helps whenever you want to set up specific action combinations. Your player board shows that you can hold at most 2 of these tiles. While we're here, you can also see at the top that there's a limit to how many coins and daimyo seals you can store. You may spend one activation tile once at the beginning of your turn to swap 2 of the activation tiles on the board. This lets you rearrange the action menu to suit your plans. And now we get to the 3 most important actions which you will already recognize from the main game: the castle, the garden and the training yards. For the castle action, you spend Mother of Pearl to move your Courtier up on either the left or the right social climbing path. The first player to perform the action chooses which side they will use for the rest of the game. The opponent must then use the other side. You pay 2 Mother of Pearl to move up 1 space, or 5 Mother of Pearl to move up 2 spaces in a single action. Wherever your Courtier ends up, you gain the reward printed on that space. The higher you climb, the better the benefits, and the more clan points you will score at the end of the game. The next familiar action is the training yards, which come in 2 types: the basic yard, which costs 2 iron, and the elite yard, which costs 5 iron. After paying the cost, you place one of your clan seals onto an empty space in that yard and choose one of the bonuses shown above. The garden action works almost the same, except here you pay with food. Depending on where you place your clan seal, you gain the corresponding bonus shown above that space. Both the training yards and the garden have limited space. It's first come, first served, and you cannot stack seals. And with that, we've covered all the actions. After both players have placed all 6 of their lantern tokens, the starting player switches. From this point on, the game runs in reverse. Instead of placing tokens, you now remove 1 lantern token from the board on your turn and resolve the 2 actions associated with that location as usual. You are free to choose any location as long as you take the topmost token in that stack. This also means you do not need to end up with the same 6 tokens you originally placed, and you definitely don't have to remember which token was yours. In theory, you could even end up with all 4 lantern tokens of one color back on your domain board. As for the lantern bonus, you still gain the bonus of that color that was covered by the token you removed. In this example, that would be the red lantern bonus. A small tip for keeping track of your turn: it's very easy to trigger the lantern bonus first and then suddenly forget which action you originally selected. To avoid that, you can place one of your unused clan seals on that chosen action space as a reminder, and then resolve the lantern bonus. Once the bonus is done, you immediately see which action you intended to play. For someone who doesn't know the White Castle, all of this may still sound fairly simple and maybe even a bit dry. And it would be if the game didn't offer a huge amount of potential for long combo chains. In reality, it happens all the time that the action you originally chose triggers another action, which then triggers yet another one, provided you prepared accordingly and kept the right resources on hand. It is useful and sometimes necessary to play the well action from time to time, to get the resources you need for powerful chain reactions. The same goes for choosing a particular action just because it lets you activate your strongest lantern bonus. The game ends as soon as the last lantern token has been removed from the board and the final turn has been completed. Understanding the final scoring is important because it helps you make more efficient decisions during the game. Many actions allow you to strengthen certain scoring categories, and some of the small symbols we have barely mentioned so far suddenly become very relevant here. If you managed to improve influence cards and collect merchandise tiles, you already have several of these symbols in your player area. You will also find matching symbols on the board, specifically in the garden underneath your clan seals. For each seal, you may add the corresponding symbol beneath it. All of this will now become crucial for calculating your final score. Start by checking where your Courtier ended up in the castle. Depending on the level, he's worth 1, 2 or 3 clan points. Next, count all of your Nabori flag symbols. Some symbols show 1 flag, others show several at once. Now multiply the value of your Courtier's level by the total number of flags you have. For example, level 2 times 5 flags equals 10 clan points. Next, count all of your katana symbols and multiply that number by the number of clan seals you have in the basic training yard. For example, 5 katanas times 2 seals equals 10 clan points. Kabuto helmets score based on both training yards. Each clan seal in the basic training yard is worth again 1 point, and each seal in the elite training yard is worth 2 points. In this example, that gives us 2 points from the basic yard plus 2 points from the elite yard for a total of 4. With 3 Kabuto symbols collected, that results in 12 clan points. Next are the cranes. Simply multiply all your white cranes by all your blue cranes. In this example, that's 3 times 1 for a total of 3 clan points. If you collected any merchandise tiles showing a golden fan, now is the time to add those points. Then combine all your coins and daimyo seals. For every 5 you have in total, you gain 1 clan point. Finally, leftover resources score as shown on your domain board. Here the player gains 1 point from food, 2 from iron and 0 from mother of pearl. If there's a tie, the winner is the player with more clan seals placed on the main board. And if there's still a tie, the player whose courtier climbed higher wins. And that's the White Castle Duel. I hope this video made it easy for you to jump into the game and start playing right away. If you have feedback, questions or corrections, drop them in the comments. I recently covered the main game as well, and I'll be doing the Matcha expansion next, so feel free to subscribe if you don't want to miss it. Until then, enjoy the duel and thanks for watching.